Hey, it's time for another
Everyday Getaway.
and we're back in the kitchen.
Yeah, did somebody say dessert? I think they did. And today we're going to make some
Cheesecake.
cheesecake. This is New York style cheesecake. A little hint of lemon. Delicious. So
Let's give it a try.
let's get going.
Okay, so to get started, my food processor died today. So I'm just gonna take a rolling pin with my graham crackers and start crunching them up to make our crust.
And while he's working on that, we set the oven to 350. And we have a springform pan that we have lightly greased. And once he finishes getting these all mashed up, we will make the crust. Get those muzzles going. By the way, this is 18 graham crackers, and Doug just reminded me that you can also get these already in a box, already crushed up, and you can, but hey, I like making them work.
Okay, so I'm gonna take my graham crackers that I crushed all up. I'm gonna put a half a cup of sugar in with them. And 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And then I'm going to mix it all together.
I love a good graham cracker crust. Yum!
Okay, so I got my graham crackers. I'm going to pour some in here. And I'm going to push it down to make sure my bottom is covered nice and evenly and smoothly.
And then we're going to put some more in, and you're going to make a rim about a ½ inch up on the sides of the springform pan. So we will kind of get that molded around. And then come.
The earliest cheesecake is traced back to the 5th century when Greeks pounded out and baked cheese with flour and honey.
Okay, Doug's going to finish working that around and pressing it in. Then we'll start making the cheesecake portion, the filling part.
Okay, so in my next mixture, I'm going to put a cup of sour cream. And with my sour cream, I'm going to mix in 1/4 a cup of all-purpose flour. And a tablespoon, that's right, tablespoon of vanilla.
If you're watching on our previous video, that is a tablespoon, about the size of a tablespoon. It's actually a measuring one, so we know it's right. So Doug will get this all mixed together and incorporated, and then it says we set that aside, and then we'll work on more of the filling, and then eventually combine the two parts together. The next step in our filling, we have 4 blocks of 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. Philadelphia is where we started, but we do have one that is an off-brand and 3 that are Philadelphia. So I'm going to plop those in, and you can either mix those with a wooden spoon until they're softened. I'm going to put it in with the paddle on my mixer. It says it'll take 3 to 5 minutes. And I did let these blocks set out for a couple of hours before we started mixing, so they're a little softened. While that cream cheese is mixing up, and like I said, it should take 3 to 5 minutes, we have to zest about a teaspoon of orange zest and a teaspoon of lemon zest. So I'm going to zest away and have that ready for the mixture. Cream cheese is very creamy now, so I'm going to add to it 1½ cups of sugar and go back to mixing until it's a nice creamy mixture. My cousin Janet makes cheesecakes, and props to her. Her cheesecakes are really delicious, so if you're watching, Janet, this is a little bit of an ode to Janny Ree here. We switched from the paddle to the whisk, and we're going to add 2/3 cup of milk. I've seen some recipes that use heavy cream. This one called for regular milk, so we'll add that in. And it says you whisk it just until it's combined. So I'm going to babysit it here, not let it go for very long. Then we'll add a few more things to it. We've got 4 large eggs. I cracked them all, and we're just going to add them one at a time. So we'll get one in there, whisk it, and we'll start adding another. You can crack them separately. I didn't. I'm just flopping them in there a little bit at a time. And then to that, we also have to add a teaspoon of freshly zested lime and a teaspoon of freshly zested orange. Okay, lastly, we're going to add the mixture that Doug whipped together earlier that has the sour cream, flour, and I believe vanilla. So we'll get that all in there. Whisk it one last time. We're going to add it to our crust and start baking. All right, this mixture is going to go on into this graham cracker crust that Doug put together. It's going to bake at 350 for an hour. And then you turn off the oven, and it stays in the oven and sets for another 3 to 4 to prevent cracking. This recipe that we are using today does not require a water bath, but many of them do. If you prefer to set yours with a water bath, you can. We will get all that in. All right, little cheesecake, you're going into the oven. We want you to cook well. We don't want you to crack, and we want you to come out nice and delicious, okay? Let's go sit in the oven for a while.
We did have a little cracking on our cheesecake. You may want to use the water bath or not use the mixer to aerate it so much. Maybe just use a wooden spoon when you're stirring it up. What sets New York cheesecakes apart is it has more cream cheese, extra eggs, and yolks, which makes a very smooth and creamy consistency.
Hey, first of all, we want to thank you for joining us today. If you know somebody that likes an easy recipe, please share this video out. And please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please take a couple of seconds and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.
There you go. And if you give this recipe a try, please comment and let us know what you think of it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or, you know, if you have a favorite cheesecake recipe of your own or flavor, let us know. Maybe we'll give yours a try. We really like our cheesecake. All right, so here we go. Quick bite. A little bit of whipped cream. It's very smooth, very creamy, a little hit of sweetness. It hasn't set up in the fridge for a long time, so it is still a tad warm.
But it's a really good flavor.
Really good lemon flavor. I think once it's completely set in the fridge, I think it'll be really, really good. Hey, I really like this.
Hey, we're back.
Here we are. It's the next morning. And we let the cheesecake set up overnight in the fridge, and it looks and the texture is much more like a New York style cheesecake this morning.
And even the flavoring, the lemon flavoring really has come through overnight. It's like I said yesterday, I'd really highly recommend it. It has really good flavor. The texture is really nice today, and the crust is super.
The crust is super. So, just so you know, that little bit extra time in the fridge, it really did enhance the flavor.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. Take care of yourselves, take care of others, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Join us next Tuesday as we try out some highly recommended gluten-free chocolate chip cookies.